this whole Diddy thing, you talk to people about it and you hear one person say, well, Diddy did it. Diddy did this. He's going to jail forever, blah, blah, blah. And then you talk to people on the other side of it and they're like, man, this is all orchestrated. It's a conspiracy against Diddy. You know, he's, you know, a wealthy black man. They're always trying to, you know, bring wealthy black men down, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's legitimacy there. But when after watching this and hearing about everything that's going on in trial, there's a legitimate argument for both sides. Like I can go through the testimony from Cassie, right?
Yeah.
You know, and she said, you know, everything that happened and, you know, it was disgusting. It was terrible. You know, so let's put that first and foremost. But then during cross-examination, it comes out that she actually like was a part after leaving Diddy, after everything was over. And I understand as a victim, when you're victimized in that way, a lot of times you develop some sort of symbiotic relationship with your attacker or the assailant. You know, I get it. And I understand that there's a lot of moving parts emotionally that comes with that. But when you're out and you still are like calling this man, having conversations with this man, saying you still want to be with him, saying you still want these things to happen. I mean, again, like Diddy doesn't have to prove that he's innocent. It's up to the state to prove he's guilty.
Right.
Right? You know, so it's just, I don't know how to feel.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel right now. But when I walked in this door just 5 minutes ago, I was like, man, Diddy going to jail. They're going to put Diddy under the jail. But now listening to everything that we just talked about off air and now just watching what I just watched is like, he could get off.
I don't know.
Welcome to another edition of the Alpha Geek Podcast. We are your Alpha Geeks. I am Antoine Brett.
I'm Taras Denisenko.
And we get a chance, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification button because you'll get an update when we go on and you'll get these podcasts fresh.
Yeah.
When they're fresh in your head.
Yeah.
Like this whole Diddy thing. Yeah. So what I mean by that is, you know, anyone can say anything about anybody, right? Mm-hmm. And my argument is that Bad Boy Records, as we know it, came into prominence like mid to late the 90s, right? Mm-hmm. You know, and a big part of that was Biggie. Mm-hmm. Biggie, you know, they had artists, they had Craig Mack, they had Toto, they had this, but they went into the stratosphere when Biggie came on the scene, right? Everybody knows that. I think we can all agree with that. And they were big all throughout the 2000s, going into the early 2010s, and then it was a slight drop off, right? I don't think they had any major distribution from the years of 2014 to 2021. No, and I mean, and even to present day, obviously. Between the years of 2014 and 2021, Bad Boy Records made $4 billion without releasing a major album. There's no Little Kim and the Lox. There's no Biggie. There's no Craig Mack. There's no nothing, right? And so when you have someone who's that big and then they have a drop off, right? That's when kind of the smoke starts to form and skeletons start to come out of the closet. We heard nothing about freak off parties.
Right.
We heard nothing about Diddy being possibly homosexual, all the things that he did. The moment that we start hearing about it is when he sued that spirits company that owns De Leon and Ciroc and all that for, I think it was for improper employee conduct or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as that happens, almost to the day, feds raid his house, Department of Homeland Security raid his crib. All that happens then.
Yeah.
We hear nothing. And so when things like this happen, there's always like rumblings, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, well, I heard that, blah, blah, blah. I heard Taras did, blah, blah. And then people that know you, they're like, get out of here, Taras, whatever. But we heard nothing. There was no smoke. There was no nothing about anything like this until all this started to happen. So then it begs the question, is it real? Is it real? And it's like, I feel like there would have been at least rumors out there somewhere that this was Diddy. And I don't know about you guys out there, but I heard nothing about any of this. So
yeah, wow, that's a really good point. Like, that's a really good point.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to blame someone for just about anything, especially, in the public eye when, people don't know them personally.
Yeah.
You say, just about Antoine Britt, just, throw cats out of windows. It's like, oh man, I saw him do it. Yeah. Like, what? But,
But you just told me that he blew up Kid Cudi's Porsche.
Yeah, I heard. So, and almost going back to the Cassie thing. So in the cross-examination in court, they say, they're, I don't know, first of all, how they're finding all these text messages and they're able to bring up all these like decades old text messages. That's scary, dude. Yeah. That is scary. Yeah. Like, man, I can just imagine the shit that I was texting people 10 years ago. I'm like, good Lord. But
oh man.
But the fact that they're able to bring this up, which it should be under scrutiny as well, is like, how did you get these text messages? But and now Cassie being out of the situation that she was in, and we talked about it, sometimes releasing the whole from someone, who has been victimized is harder, easier said than done. It's not black and white. We know that. But man, Cassie's like, I still want to be with you. I still want to. Evidently, she FaceTimed Diddy. No, she FaceTimed her now husband while she was having sex with Diddy.
Whoa.
Yes.
Oh no.
Yes.
That came out in court?
Yes.
Oh no.
And so, I mean, and then you hear all the stuff that we heard in court, like the golden shower thing, and I'm not going to get into graphic, but her husband, now the father of her 3 kids, has to sit through that and hear about that and relive that with her. It's like, man. It's like, what do you do? And evidently, Diddy was the reason they met. Like, Diddy hired him as a trainer, and that's how he met Cassie. So, I mean, come on, dude. It's just too crazy. And then we talk about the Kid Cudi thing. So now she has a relationship with Kid Cudi. When you feel like you have to get out and you're still, like, I don't know about you, but me, if I'm in a volatile and violent and just that type of relationship, if I'm out, I want to get as far away from it as possible. Yeah. And Cassie at this time, she's in her early 20s. She could have, and I'm not going to say what people could and couldn't done because I'm not in their shoes, but I feel like I would have removed myself completely. But instead, she goes and dates other Hollywood people in the music industry, people who are very close parallels to Diddy. Yeah, she's dating Kid Cudi, and Puff got wind of it. Yeah, and blows up the man's Porsche.
Well, what about this? I recently watched a video of Wendy Williams, and she was on a phone conversation. So this is a recorded phone conversation before she got fired, and they're assuming this is why she got fired from the show. She said that 1 out of 10 actors are gay. 5 out of 10 R&B pop stars are gay. And so
can you believe that?
So she called out, and I think she was basically talking about Diddy. So she called out the whole pop genre, and Diddy shows up on the Wendy Williams show, and she gets all of a sudden really uncomfortable because he's talking about her family and her son, and she's like, yeah, my son, he's now 16, and he's like, yeah, I met him backstage. He's a good young boy. And she, no joke, you got to watch that video. No joke, she just went, like, didn't know what to do. So it got super uncomfortable.
Really?
Oh my God, dude. And I try to have Wendy watch it, and she hasn't seen it yet, but I was like, this is the craziest video. And it was so what happened to Wendy Williams? Was she like drugged or something? Like there was some sort of health thing. I can't remember what happened to her, but yeah,
man.
So there's a lot of like, I think there's too many circumstantial things that probably, and then Mark Wahlberg walking in the courtroom, just looking straight up at him, just like, I don't know.
Yeah. And so with the whole Mark Wahlberg, well, first of all, let's cover the whole gay. Like, why does Hollywood make so many people gay? Like, what is it about Hollywood?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand.
Well, is it like the whole point where Diddy says is like, it's a power thing. You do that kind of, you put somebody in that situation, I don't know, I guess you do whatever you do, and all of a sudden you got stuff on them. I don't know, like the Epstein Island. I don't know. It's just like a different version. And so
that's nuts.
Yeah.
Dude. That's, I don't know if like people who are actors and actors that are in those art fields just have a more like metrosexual way of living. But
yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. It's like, and that's what makes me question it because why is it that when someone is super powerful, right? And it seems to be very common denominator between all these cases. When you have someone who's super powerful and famous and they feel like they can't be touched and people want to topple them, the first thing they say is either they're gay or they mess with kids, right? Mm-hmm. So I mean, who knows? It's hard for me to believe that. Well, maybe not. And 1 out of 10, 1 out of 5 is kind of pushing it.
Yeah.
But 1 out of 10, like, of people in Hollywood are gay.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe it could.
Hollywood, I could see that, but in the R&B world, I was like, or in the pop world, I'm like, that's kind of like Wendy Williams saying half, like 5 out of 10. I don't know. That seems kind of a. I mean, what do I know in that world? But entertainment is like, but like Diddy is like going back to the Cassie thing. Like, she was young, he was influential. She wants to be a star. Like you get into that world and you need that. She was the hottest thing, right? She was the hottest thing, and then all of a sudden it's gone.
Yeah.
It's like an athlete getting injured. Like you want so bad to get that, whatever that feeling, that rush or that recognition, and they'll do anything for it.
Yeah.
Right or wrong. Like, I don't know. It's.
Well, Cassie wasn't the hottest thing.
She was kind of she wasn't the hottest thing, but she was on, like, she had a #1 hit. She was.
Yeah. Cassie was like.
She was a one-hit wonder, I guess.
She was a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
And she had the backing of Diddy and Bad Boy at the time, who were like, if they put something out, people were going to listen. But
yeah,
I felt like Cassie was like the Timu Aaliyah. You know what I'm saying? Like Aaliyah's death gave the opportunity.
That was pretty brilliant.
Yeah,
that was.
Aaliyah's death gave a lot of female pop and R&B artists the opportunity to be something where they would have been in Aaliyah's shadow. Aaliyah was like the it girl. She was working with everybody. She had a whole thing with R. Kelly that kind of gave her that really taboo, mysterious, pop culture thing going on that everybody was clamoring after. But you look at Beyonce, you look at Rihanna, you look at Cassie, you look at a dozen female pop / R&B artists that would not have been anywhere as big as they were had Aaliyah not died.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she was it. She was the one that people wanted on their album. She had got into acting. Yeah. She was becoming that girl. Yeah. And then, she died, and everybody kind of like, you had this power vacuum right now. Everybody's gonna,
How did she die?
Plane crash, right?
What caused that plane crash?
I think I want to say she was in Jamaica. Hey, you never know. You never know. What if Diddy?
You heard it here first.
Well, okay. So when at the time that she had the whole thing with R. Kelly, and at the time that she died, she was dating Dame Dash, who was co-founder and manager of Jay-Z.
Oh.
So, and we know all the stuff that Jay-Z. Now, me personally, I refuse to put Hove in this whole thing. Jay didn't, like, even if he did. I mean, come on, it's Jay-Z. No, but seriously, she died at a time where if she had still been around, it would have been a wrap. Beyonce might have been as popular, but not as, you know. But when we talk about that, we talk about the death of Biggie Smalls too.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think the consensus is that Jay-Z would not have been as big had Biggie been around. And while I feel like Jay-Z is probably the greatest rapper of all time. But you got to admit that being from the same borough, being from the same area, being a New York artist, and kind of their music being run such parallels together, I mean, of each other. I mean, I got to agree that Jay-Z would not have been as big had Biggie been around, or vice versa. Jay-Z might, but Big had that charisma though, man.
Yeah.
Big had that charisma. It would have been hard to topple Big.
Yeah.
So, and we talked about how Puff might have had something to do with that, you know, and you know how Tupac and Puff had this relationship, and how Puffy or Diddy has a Tupac tattoo on his chest, and some of this stuff just gets weird, man. I can't. Like, I have a friend, Brittany. She goes off of the deep end with this stuff. Like, she's like, Diddy's an alien now.
Oh.
Yeah, she goes, yeah, it's weird.
Okay.
She's like, Justin Bieber's gonna come and testify. She bet me a bottle of tequila that Justin Bieber and Usher are gonna come testify.
Yeah.
In this, I was like, what?
Well, I mean, Bieber and Britney both. Like, Britney is blaming or acting all crazy because she feels as somewhere I heard this, and Wendy was sharing with me that Britney Spears is all messed up because of Diddy. Somehow. I don't know.
Really?
But I mean, I was just thinking, like, Britney was in Disney and like that whole being in the entertainment industry.
Oh yeah,
messes you up.
She was already messed up.
100%.
Yeah, she was already messed up. You look at Aaron Carter. I mean, like, just that life. Amanda Bynes. I mean, that lifestyle. Growing up as a kid and being in Hollywood, I feel like there's a 50-50 chance that you're gonna be destroyed as an adult, and you're going to be a pretty level adult, just because, you know, I think it all comes from your support system and how because you got so many of these like Hollywood actor parents that just are living vicariously through the kids, and they have no concept of balance, of boundaries, or what it's going to take for those children to still be well-rounded adults. They just want that paycheck, man. They want to see their kids on as many shows and TV and movie as they can, and
their kid becomes property and just a point of income or whatever. And it's you know, you figure if you go to the entertainment world, how much do you have to sacrifice or put yourself in precarious situations in order to be seen, in order to be like, I mean, you just to be cast, like how many casting calls and what, you know, it's not like, I don't want to say it's not a fair industry, but it's the people who are the most talented probably won't make it because they don't have the ability to sell themselves to go through this thing. So, and I think it has to do with a lot with, you know, parallel with acting or music, or even if I relate it to dancing, like one buddy of mine says on the world championship stage, he's like, the finalists aren't the best ones. He's like, the quarterfinalists and semifinalists are sometimes the best ones, but they just don't have the ability to allow themselves to not be themselves because they need to be directed in a certain way, or you have to, whether you have to sleep with this person or pay this person off or do X, Y, and Z. And he's just like, man, the best ones don't make it to the top because they just don't have there's the
willingness to do that.
Yeah. So pretty crazy. But
which arguably is a talent in itself, right? The ability to like turn on this character is like professional wrestling. Like they say, your wrestling persona, the best sellable personas are the people who are being authentic and they're just turning it up to 10.
Yeah.
Like with the 10 version of who you are, give me that, and that's going to be sellable. So, and some people just don't have the ability nor the desire to do that. They want to be in their bubble. They want to be who they are. They want to feel like they're being authentic to themselves. So,
At the end of the day, you got to live with yourself, and if you can't deal with the choices you made, then that's probably why Britney's crazy, or why people do unthinkable things to deal with that trauma.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like you got to be okay with selling out.
Yeah.
You got to be a sellout. Like
Yeah.
you got to and I feel like people like Britney, for example, since we're talking about her, she has probably done that so much, so often that now it's the norm for her.
Yeah.
Like who she is, the person that we see on camera is really who Britney is now. You know, when back in the day, she had to try to be that person. She had to be, you know, overly sexual.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she was being sexualized, so she had to be overly sexy. She had to, you know, wear certain things, say certain things, date certain people, you know, be seen at certain places. So now she's done that so frequently, she probably doesn't even know how not to do that anymore.
For real.
How not to be that person.
Totally. Yeah.
Man, poor
Wild.
Britney. She's nuts though.
Dude, that video with her with a knife, and like, I know it's old, but man, that's the visual I have now. Like,
she's man, and I'm not blaming on who, like, she went through a lot of stuff, but and the way she stares at the camera when she shoots these like dance videos in the floor, I'm like, those eyes have seen some shit, dude.
Yes,
for real.
I hate to laugh at it, but for real, dude.
Yeah, like, and you can tell just like when we hear interviews and the way that people talk and the way that they interact with people, you can tell who's being authentic and like who's really seeing some shit.
Yeah,
and people are just like playing it up for the camera, for the interview or whatever. So but then we talk about going back to the Mark Wahlberg thing. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people, I didn't know this before we walked in today. So this must have happened like yesterday.
Yeah.
So Mark Wahlberg walks into the courtroom, right, holding a satchel, right, black suit, power suit, coming there to blow somebody's spot up.
Yep.
And he, you know, addresses. So this is question number one.
Okay.
It's not admissible because they say he didn't, you know, do the oath, you know, and put his hand on the Bible, blah, 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 all that stuff. So it's not admissible. But in a court of public opinion, sometimes, you know, just what we see and what the people believe, that's really all that matters, right? And so I didn't see the video. I don't know who has and who hasn't seen the video, but evidently he had a video that's really incriminating to Diddy.
The judge called for a recess, and I think both counsels went to the back and watched it. So I don't know if now they admitted it to whatever it's proof, whatever. Evidence. Thank you.
We suck. We're the worst.
I had another thought I wanted to circle back around to, and I was like, not trying to forget that one. But yeah, so I think they're allowing it to be admitted to evidence now. But I mean, it could be tossed out because the way he presented it. So, but the judge did call for recess, and so something courtroomish stuff happened. But what this is why we could come back to is like, there's no cameras allowed in a federal court case. However, the court stenographer taking all the notes, they're developing a Hulu TV series hosted by Sonny Hostin.
What?
Dude, and I just watched 5 minutes of it and I was like, this is terrible. Shut it off. I just couldn't do it.
God, and when you think about it, it's really unfair. Like, even if Diddy did all these things, when you put all of these things that, you know, like we have the Netflix thing, we have the Disney Plus documentary that came out. When you put all these things in place, you're basically saying he's guilty before.
For sure.
I mean, this was before the trial.
For sure.
The Netflix thing came out before the trial.
Yep.
I mean, you're basically saying he's guilty. And so it goes back to this. And, you know, I'm not a lawyer, you know, and I know a lot of the stuff, with the sex stuff and, you know, what he did to Cassie and what he did to these male prostitutes. while a lot of it isn't criminal, it does speak to his character. I get it. But a lot of it's not criminal.
Yeah.
Right? And so on this video that Mark Wahlberg has, it has to be something criminal, something violent that he did. Because, sure, at this stage of the game in the trial, from what we've seen, what's the worst thing that we can get Diddy on now? Maybe human trafficking, soliciting a prostitute. He hasn't done anything. I don't see anything like the RICO charge they're trying to get, the money laundering, all the racketeering. None of that yet. And I don't know where this trial is going to go. I don't know if they're just like ramping up to that stuff. But right now, if the trial was over, Diddy goes home.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
What about the rumors or the speculations that he was a Fed and he turned on him? So he was like an informant. Like pretty outlandish, or do you think there's something to that?
I can see that.
Yeah.
Especially, somewhere down the line, like we talked about earlier, that those mid 2000s where Bad Boy was like printing money at this time. And you got to watch that dough, maybe he got caught up and you say, hey, you turn, you be a snitch for us.
Yep.
Or so I guess I would be more inclined to believe that than I would have believed like he was, rubbing a male prostitute's semen on his nipples. That's what came out in court. Like, if you told me those two things, A and B, I'm like, A, obviously A.
Yeah.
Who's rubbing? Like, why?
Oh my God.
I don't get it. And evidently he would get like really upset if the male prostitute, like if he didn't ejaculate.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, he's like, somewhere in her vicinity, you need to ejaculate. Seriously. And he would get upset and he would like go and check.
Oh my
like
God.
if he says, because he would make these people, Cassie and whoever these prostitutes were, have sex for hours on end. And I don't know about your male anatomy, but my shit ain't going for hours on end. You get 20 minutes, if that.
That was like 20 minutes, bro. What are you taking? I don't know.
You get 20 minutes, but yeah. So he would say, he'd be all dried up, I guess, and he would say like, yeah, I did, I finished, and he would go to Cassie like, go check.
Damn.
Yeah, like he would be upset if he didn't. Like,
wow.
Like
wow.
That's crazy. That's not power. That's I don't know what that is.
Crazy fetish, like something that's nuts.
And then there's rumors that he was like abused by his mother, things like that. So like it's a snowball effect, right?
Yeah.
You can't get a little crazy without potentially getting a lot crazy, right? And so that's what this is, and this is what bothers me about it, because if the facts are great, but then what happens is when you bring public scrutiny in, now it turns into, now his mom is, abused him, or he did this, or he's, wiping semen on his nipples, like all that stuff. It's like, it becomes too much.
Yeah.
And it distorts the actual facts.
Yeah. Okay, so parents aren't perfect, but you can't blame that or what he is based on the parents. Because it's like, if you think about people who have a ton of money and a ton of power, who have no recourse for any actions they have done, where they can buy people off or just off them, there's no way you could be like, it's because of my mom.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Like, there's just no way. And I think about people like let's say Bill Gates as a comparison. Like, the guy could get away with anything, and Lord knows he probably has. So it's like, and there's probably some weird skeletons in his basement for sure. I mean, these people like are, they stop to lose. They don't value human life anymore, or now you're just a thing. It's like they get so bored, most likely. Unless you have some sort of guidance and you believe in something higher than yourself, but I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what, part of me feels like you can't be rich and famous without thinking that way to some extent.
Oh,
thinking
sure.
that you have unlimited access to anything that this world has to offer.
Yeah.
And you can have it. And I mean, that would drive somebody crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And they might not think they're going crazy, but they are, because you're living in a world now that you're delusional to the point of believing, because you had all this evidence up to this point that you could have all these things, you could do all these things. Now, no one can tell you any different.
Yep.
You can have whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. It's like, go hide, go hide the prostitute, type thing. Like we see it in movies all the time in a joking way, right? But there's a little bit of truth in every joke.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
what's that saying? Absolute power corrupts absolutely, or something like that?
Yeah. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, yep.
I mean, it's for sure. I mean, it's just all that. And the Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. Watch more Spider-Man, you gazillionaires.
Do you think Trump pardons him?
If I think what?
Do you think Donald Trump pardons him? Did he?
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh my God. If it gets him more votes, he probably would.
He pardoned Todd Chrisley. Chrisley knows best. Remember Todd Chrisley?
No.
They had a show on USA, Chrisley Knows Best. So Southern gentleman, very flamboyantly straight.
Okay.
Whatever.
Sure, whatever.
Him and his family had a show. Well, he was arrested and sent. I don't remember how much time he was supposed to do, but real estate fraud. Him and his wife.
Oh,
yeah, remember him?
Yeah. Okay, I just
and
pulled
so
it up. Yeah,
he's been in. I want to say he's been in jail for the last 4 years, 3 to 4 years, maybe even 5. He got pardoned yesterday.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Out.
Trump pardons Todd and Julie Chrisley.
Yeah,
10 hours ago.
He stole millions of dollars from HUD.
Oh, dang.
Fannie Mae.
Yeah.
Freddie Mac. Used it to line his pockets.
Man, that's how the rich keep getting richer.
And I remember watching this show, and every season this cat, no exaggeration, this cat had a new Range Rover every season.
Jeez.
New Range Rover. And then would brag about it. But when you watch these TV shows with affluent people, you already assume that they did something to become that, right? We don't know. We never knew what he did. Like if it was, a real estate mogul or an actor or a singer or this or a sports star, we know they got that TV show because they did this thing, and now people want to see what their real life is like. No one knew what he did. He never really talked about it that much. No one ever talked about it that much. They just said he was in real estate. Well, caught up with him.
Yep.
And he went to prison, and I think he was supposed to be in for 15 years, and the wife got 7 or 8 years. And the wife was just complacent, really. She was an accomplice, but, she could, guilty by association type thing. Well, the daughter, the middle daughter, Savannah, I believe her name is, just went on this, her podcast is pretty popular, and she just went on this week after week after week, talking about how unfair the justice system is and how fair the rulings are and how unfairly the appeals are going. And I mean, she's riding for her parents. I get it.
Yeah.
But
was that Savannah Chrisley? Is that who?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So,
man, I'd be so curious to know, why. Was there any news as why he pardoned them?
No.
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 I don't know. I feel like
it's like
just a random.
It's Wednesday. Let's pardon some people. And it's funny because so many people gave Joe, and this is not neither left nor right. This is just real and human, right? So many people gave Joe Biden shit for pardoning his son and his brother. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? If my dad was president, I don't care if I blew some shit up. You better get me out of jail, right?
Yeah.
Short of murdering somebody or doing some ridiculously heinous act, get me out of jail.
Yeah.
You're the president. You're my father. Get me out of jail, right? And everybody, I can't believe Joe Biden did that. I can't believe he's using this power and to, blah, 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 blah. Donald Trump just pardoned Todd Chrisley.
All right, so on the flip side, talking about Biden, he pardoned what's his name, Fauci.
Oh yeah, he did
Pre-pardon. So,
yeah. But I feel like Joe Biden knew that he better pardon that motherfucker. He's like, look, let's go, never come back. Yeah. Never come back. You need to go buy an island and stay there. Never leave, dude, because you are not welcome here by anyone else. Mm-hmm. So, I guess,
Crazy.
Yeah, fair's fair.
Yep. So Chrisley Fauci.
Yeah, right. Oh man, I think he did like pardon an NBA young boy. I think he pardoned too.
Did he? Who?
Yeah.
Biden or Trump?
Trump.
Okay.
Just like I don't know what the rhyme or reason is. When you think about pardoning somebody, like what is it? There's a bunch of moving parts. Like, I get it. But we have to assume that in the public eye, some of these pardons are going to look better or worse than others, right? And so he pardoned NBA YoungBoy and Todd Chrisley same time, right? Oh, okay. Nobody's talking about the NBA YoungBoy thing, right? Because, that Todd Chrisley thing was so big in the news and it was, it affected so many people. I don't know what NBA YoungBoy did. I don't
even know who NBA YoungBoy is.
Yeah, he's rapper,
okay.
Rapper/actor.
Yeah.
No, we're going to look it up. We're going to see what NBA YoungBoy did.
What is he guilty of? NBA YoungBoy guilty of what?
Yeah, and I thought, I just totally forgot that he was in jail. Tell you the truth.
4 counts of felony identity fraud and felony forgery reduced to a Class A misdemeanors, and 6 counts of misdemeanor unlawful pharmacy conduct.
Pharmacy, probably reselling prescription drugs or something like that.
Yeah.
That's all he did.
I mean,
how long was he in jail? Come on, man.
25 years. Oh, he's 25 years old.
It's like 25 years.
Whoops.
I don't think he did that long.
27. No, Utah, where he's anticipated to receive a sentence of 27 months federal prison, followed by 5 years of supervised probation.
Oh, okay.
So that's what he was. This is old news, but that's what this is. Yeah, that was the case. Yeah. So that doesn't sound.
It's not that bad, right?
It doesn't. I mean,
in comparison to millions of dollars of real estate fraud.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, you do unlawful pharmacy conduct. I mean, if you're selling drugs to people, but felony forgery. It's like that guy. What was that movie with Catch Me If You Can?
Oh,
DiCaprio, yeah.
Forging checks.
Yeah, forging checks.
Yeah.
Like, that was pretty wild.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah, that was a good movie. That whole story was crazy.
Right? And the fact that he ended up going and working for the feds.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you can go to prison for the rest of your life or you can work for us and get a check.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
Done.
Switching to just real quick some movie stuff. This past weekend, 2 movies got released. Mission Impossible Part 2 and Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, God. Sorry, Mission Impossible. You picked the wrong weekend to come out.
Yep. Blew it out of the water.
Yeah.
Blew it out of the water. Yeah. I'm curious to see the second Mission Impossible. I don't know how you feel about it, but I think it's out on Paramount Plus, the first one.
Yeah.
So we started watching it, and I was like, it was pretty good.
Yeah, all those Mission Impossible movies are good. I feel like they just drag.
Yes.
They drag on. Everyone. I feel like the movie is 4 hours long.
Yeah.
But they are good, and I wanted to see. I like the way that the last one ended, so I did want to see because this is Mission Impossible 7 Part 2 that just came out. Right?
Yes.
So, they make a bunch of these movies.
Yeah.
But I don't know what studio head thought it was a good idea. They was like, Lilo and Stitch, this bullshit. We're gonna blow this shit out the water. Yeah, Lilo and Stitch is gonna do $1 billion.
Yeah. It blew Mission Impossible out of the water, and like I was watching another YouTuber do her review on it, on Lilo and Stitch, and she hated it.
Really?
She hated it. She's like, so, and just Disney's whole philosophy of doing live action from animated. Like, she had a really good point. You lose the magic of what the movie was. I mean, Lilo and Stitch is about aliens doing nefarious things, and when you put it in real life context, it kind of loses its cuteness and funniness and comedy, because it's, one is a cartoon and the other one's like live action. And I don't know, she was like the opposite aliens. Like, you can't take a 4-eyed over like huge alien, and they cast him as Zach Galifianakis, and like, okay, but he's not an alien. And so you're kind of like manipulating the story and the magic of it. And she had really good points on it. She's just like, Stitch is cute. Stitch is still great, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
do you know how many toys they're going to sell of this damn thing?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel opposite. I feel like if you have the fact that the live action Disney remakes are good or bad have nothing to, in my opinion, have nothing to do with the fact that the original IP is animated and that we get like some sort of emotional response from those animated movies. I feel like with age, like people are going to be way more up in arms to get a live action remake of Snow White in comparison to Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like you don't have as much emotional investment because it's a newer movie.
Right.
I think the original came out, 2000, something like that.
Yeah.
So I do feel that is the difference maker.
Yeah.
Like if you go back, anytime you go back and remake something that's super old and has like this large cult following, then people are gonna feel like they have more ownership of it. And they're gonna, the critics are gonna come out.
Oh,
people gonna talk shit.
Yeah. I don't feel against it or for it. I think it just depends on the movie. Like Voltron, live action Voltron's coming out.
Oh, can't wait for that.
Dude, that's exciting. Even when G.I. Joe came out, I was so excited for the live action G.I. Joe stuff. Transformers, I loved all the Transformers movies. Yeah. So I think it just depends on I get the idea of the alien thing, like, because it's so far-fetched and it's so crazy, and it's so, the idea of Lilo and Stitch, I loved Lilo and Stitch. I was like, I don't know if I'd want to go see the live action one, but I just remember watching it and it was cool. Yeah. But I wanted to bring up the Mission Impossible thing, because during the filming of Mission Impossible, I wish I could find the article really quick. Tom Cruise and the director of Mission Impossible had talked about, to relieve some stress from their current project, filming another movie about Len Grossman, or Len,
from Tropic Thunder. Yes.
A standalone movie with that character. And Tom Cruise was like, yes, let's do it.
Is that they're gonna do it?
I think they're gonna do it.
Oh, please do that. I feel like that's one of the only movies, like the action stuff is, okay, let's run this course, right? He was a great action star, but Tom Cruise is 62 years old?
Yeah.
Hang it up.
Yeah.
Like, we're sick of seeing you old ass, like thinking that you're action stars. Liam Neeson, stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it. Dude, nobody wants to see it anymore. Oh. Keanu is the only one that can get away with it.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves can get away with it. Maybe Denzel.
Yeah.
But even Denzel is kind of moving around, kind of fragile these days.
Yeah. Keanu, man, I finally watched the last John Wick. It was good. Oh,
you just now saw that?
Yeah, because I watched it on the plane. I was just this past weekend in San Antonio, and the weekend before we were in Rochester. But yeah, I thought it was really good. Yeah. And Ballerina's coming out, which I saw the timeline is supposed to happen prior to the most latest installment of John Wick.
Yeah, they're going all in with this John Wick thing. They're expanding the universe. Yeah. They're doing 2 animated John Wick spinoffs.
That would be cool.
Yeah, so one of them is supposed to be John Wick at the very beginning of his, his assassin career. So I don't know what the second is going to be, but they're definitely milking this cow. Dude.
Oh yeah. And I did, and the ending of the latest installment, John Wick, how they left it kind of open
Yeah.
to be like,
Yeah. Well, when I first saw it, I didn't think they did. I was like, oh, he's really fucking dead.
Yeah.
You know, like, this is it. But there's the director and Keanu sat down. They said they sat down over a bourbon and talked about how he's like, would you want to make another one? He's like, yeah, I want to make another one. How does that look? So
yeah.
we'll see. And then with the ballerina thing coming out, I don't know if it's supposed to predate all the. I think it is supposed to predate everything that happened before John Wick, the first one.
No, it said in the timeline that at least what I saw, what says John Wick 4.
Yeah.
So it happens after the third one.
Oh,
so it's
okay.
between 3 and 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but somebody said it was like on an Instagram post and they just showed the timeline. But so it'll be interesting.
Okay.
To see what that is. But I'm pretty sure what that's. And if anybody knows, if you want to write in the comments, that'd be great.
Yeah. Take my money though. I want to see it.
Right.
Speaking of taking my money, man, July we have Superman.
Oh yeah.
We have Jurassic World, or the new Jurassic Park movie, and we have Fantastic Four, all in July.
Oh, you want to get into Fantastic Four drama?
Yeah. What happened with that, dude? Come on, please don't ruin this movie for me, Taras.
All the reshoot. Well, Pedro Pascal is in the news again about being all like, what's her name? That was in in Snow White. Supposedly his shenanigans or whatever he's saying is causing a whole ruckus, and now they're doing reshoots. But like you said in previous episodes, reshoots are normal.
Yeah, that's normal.
And people just want to like. So I guess I was kind of being sort of facetious when I said drama.
Like, don't ruin that for me, dog. Good Lord. Speaking of good movies, I saw Sinners finally.
Oh,
saw it this past weekend. Okay. Really good movie.
Good?
Really good movie, man. And I heard. Leading up to it, I feel like I heard so much about it that I like almost watched it, you know. But dude, I don't know what it is. Like, Ryan Coogler is turning into such a dynamic director, and him and Michael B. Jordan together they just make magic, man. It's cool. And I know a couple of weeks ago we talked about it, and I compared them to Sean Levy and Ron Reynolds. But after watching the movie and seeing like how Ryan Coogler actually uses Michael B. Jordan's like physical presence and gives you like an emotional response from that, there's nobody better. I've never seen a director actor duo that has done it better. I mean, it was a phenomenal movie, and while like all the beats were nothing, you know. It was a vampire movie, right? And it was based in the 1930s, which, you know, for black people in Mississippi, was not a good time.
Yeah.
And you had these twins that ended up leaving, serving their country, figuring out that the best way to make money for them was a life of crime. They go to Chicago, they do their dirt in Chicago, and they bring all that money back to Mississippi, and you know, and then I'm not gonna ruin it for everybody, but you should have seen it by now if you were gonna see it. They open up basically a nightclub, and that's when these vampires come and try to, you know, they hear the actor, I don't know the actor's name, that plays their cousin, but his voice was it was great.
Okay.
And these vampires hear him and they want to get in, and so that whole thing happens. But man, it was such a good movie. Really good movie. And, you know, when you talk about, I know doing it in a show and doing it in a movie are two different things, but having one actor play twins, and the way they did it and the camera, especially at the very beginning where they're like passing the cigarette back and forth, it was flawless, seamless. It was great. So it was really good movie.
Honestly, I didn't know the premise of the movie. So he plays like he plays the same part. I mean, he plays both parts.
He plays twins, Stack and Smoke Stack.
Oh, so, you know, that's funny.
And they play twins that, and you think halfway through the movie one of them's going to die, but he doesn't.
Okay.
And spoiler alert. So you think, all right, now a little bit less work for this guy. Now he doesn't have to play twins, but no.
All right.
It's good. You'll like it. You'll dig it. It has a very even balance of, you know, racial awareness, mystical, vampire, politics, just social, just where the world was socially.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of hidden, like a lot of symbolism in the movie as well. Like when it was one part where we knew that one of the characters was going to die, and there were like vultures circling the house even before it happened. Like things like that people know. It's like, oh, there's like somebody's going to die even if you hadn't gotten it yet. So it was cool. It was a cool movie.
That's cool. Yeah, unfortunately, I have been limited to watching my movies in airplanes as I've been traveling so much. But I will say, a little plug for American Airlines, even though flights get canceled and they kind of suck, they have a good movie selection.
They kind of suck.
Totally sucks when that happens.
Don't get me to my destination.
Yeah.
But you better make sure you have some fucking R-rated film on that bitch.
Yeah, it helps. It helps. Oh my God, that's too funny.
Yeah, dude, I am not excited about travel. We got a lot of travel coming up within the next 4 months.
You do? Yeah.
Yeah, not excited. Not excited.
What about the destinations?
Destinations I'm excited about.
Okay.
So, but no.
Yeah, man. Like as of was it this past week in San Antonio, this coming week, next weekend, Boston. That's easy though. Then Chicago, and then
Chi-Town.
Yeah. Then Vegas, and so yeah, just everywhere.
Man, you are everywhere, dude.
Yeah.
You gotta play. You gotta play some slots.
Yeah, I don't, man.
You're not a gambler.
I can't. I don't know. If I do anything, I'm gonna try to do like maybe what's the dice one?
Craps.
Craps. Yeah, I'll
craps.
do that. I could put some chips on the number. And a buddy of mine, so when we go to, and the travel is because of all these competitions that we go to. But a buddy of mine, he runs the screens and all these competitions, and he's like, listen for repetitive numbers. He's like, listen to the signs, pay attention. He's like, what number do you keep hearing over and over again? And he's like, bet on that. I was like, oh, okay. So
sound like that's a good way to lose your fucking money.
But in a game of chance, I don't know. Like, what other is there any strategy when it comes to craps?
No.
I don't think so. Right?
Luck. It's like it's luck. I had so my lucky number is 22, 17 and 22. Those are my lucky numbers. And when I go, I always play black 22. I always play black, but I play 22 and everything around it, and 17 and everything around it, because you can make side bets.
That's
too,
right. You
right?
Can put, yeah.
Never win. Never. I don't think I've won at craps one time.
Yeah.
Blackjack is my game.
Yeah.
I do pretty well at that.
Just the whole. I'm the coolness about Vegas. I'm kind of over Vegas. I don't know. It's like I've been there, going there for over a decade, and as not a gambler, I've seen all the cool shows. Speaking of shows, before I was in San Antonio, I was working in the Houston studio at the Woodlands, and one of the students came in and said he saw, what's the show that you saw in Houston? The Star Wars thing.
Empire Strips Back.
Empire Strips Back.
Yeah.
He said he loved it.
It was awesome,
It was so good.
Oh, man, that show was fantastic.
And I was like, did you see my buddy? He's like, what did he look like? I was like, he's probably the only non-white guy there. I don't know.
No, there's a bunch of us in there.
Oh, really?
No, dude. And man, geek. Kind of going back to like the Disney stuff we were just talking about earlier. Geek fans are the best fans.
Oh yeah.
If you're like, and I don't know about this is. I would venture to say this is the most common geekdom.
Yeah.
If you like one faction of geekdom, you respect everything else. Like, I'm not a Harry Potter guy, but my wife loves Harry Potter, so I'm down for it when we go. When she wants to see it. Same thing with Star Wars, Marvel, DC, Pokemon, blah blah. Even though you're not into all those things, you're like, respect, respect. So
how does your wife feel about them recasting Snape as a black guy?
I don't think she knows about that.
Okay.
Shit.
Yeah.
Dude, don't I edit that part out. She'll probably be so happy. Are they recasting Snape as a black dude? Mm-hmm. What, in the show, in the HBO, in the Max show?
Thing. Yeah.
Man.
So people are just like, they're confused by that because
they are going to hate that. Confusion is not the word that we're going for.
But in the book, it describes Snape as he's as pale, basically somebody that's never seen seen the sun, and he's so pale that his skin is transparent. So it's just, I mean, to me, it doesn't matter, but I was just like, it was just interesting. That
Is it like an albino black dude?
No.
It's like a black dude.
Yeah.
Like a regular black dude.
Yeah, regular black dude. Yeah. He's
Yeah, I don't know if I like that.
Yeah.
So this is my thing. Obviously, I believe that everyone should be represented on film. I think we should be as equal representation as possible. But also understanding that a lot of this IP, especially the stuff that came from the 50s, 60s, 70s, they were white men, white women, right? If you don't have any extensive IP and the race of the character is pretty ambiguous, then yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
But when you have people like Snape,
right.
I mean, come on, dude, that's a no brainer.
Yeah.
Like, cast another white guy, it just doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't do. What are you trying to accomplish? Like, did you want to make sure that you fill a particular quota for that film, and you have a certain amount of black leads?
Yeah.
If that's the case, you should probably say that.
Yeah.
You'll get less blowback because you got way less assholes in geekdom anyway. You have way less assholes racially than you have of people who are just going to get upset about the particular project. Right. So if you say, look, we wanted to make sure we cast a black male actor in this role because we want equal opportunity, we want representation for everyone, you're going to have way less people come out and say something. Because then you just like a dickhead when you say something about it, right? So
she's under fire though, like the author. God, I just forgot her name. Anyway, the author of the Harry Potter books, she's always under like
J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling, yes, thank you. She's because the whole trans thing, like she was.
Oh man.
So it's just funny, that whole franchise is just kind of like up in arms about stuff. But yeah, I thought that was a kind of a interesting take on Snape. But
it's gonna
whatever.
be interesting.
Yeah.
But people forget that these are people, man.
Yeah.
These are people. Like, they did this one thing that made them a buttload of money and people love. She wrote those books.
Yeah.
Right? She's still a person. She still feels the way she feels.
Yeah.
The worst thing that you can do with somebody who is known for writing this fictional wonder is ask them questions about real world shit.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't talk to them. Let them stay and write and create, make more books so you can make more movies, so you can make more money and make more people happy.
Yep.
Don't ask them about how they feel about the Great Wall of China. Don't ask them how they feel about politics. Don't ask them how they feel about transgender or gay or straight. Just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, no one cares. The only people who care about it are the people who are upset that they heard about what she said when they didn't care in the first place.
Yep.
Like, no one cares, dude. So why you mad? You look an idiot because you're mad now. That's some shit. This girl writes fiction books. Why you mad about how she feels about transgender people?
Oh man, crazy.
No,
it's crazy.
Our world. Welcome to planet Earth.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, it's about that time.
About that time.
Yeah.
Yo. So Taras is traveling a lot. So you're gonna be getting these podcasts sparingly.
Sporadically.
They're gonna be throwing all over the place. Man. Yeah. So you said you got Vegas. No, you got San Antonio again.
I got so Boston next week. So we'll be out. We got to schedule our session. So Boston next week, and actually June. That's the only thing that's happening in June, and then July kind of picks up again, and August picks up again, and. But so I am traveling a lot, and just to do kind of tell everybody about what the plan is. So me and my buddy Todd have regularly go to these dance competitions, and we took it upon ourselves with all this technology that we have here is to try to start live streaming ESPN style these dance competitions. And they're going to be the professional ballroom competitions.
Oh, that's it.
Featuring the rhythm, smooth division, as well as the single dance. And we just live streamed the Country Western Championships last weekend in San Antonio. If you're so inclined and you like watching that kind of stuff, go visit Life is a Dance podcast on YouTube and check that out. And subscribe to that and ring that notification bell. So once we live stream again, you'll get that notification. You can check it out. Our goal right now is we're trying to get to the Boston Dance Ram to be able to do it there. And we're hoping that the corporate office enjoys it and they want to, kind of let us expand on that, so to speak. So we'll see, but that's the latest project that I got going on. So, but you got something really awesome happening.
I do. So we kind of touched on it a couple of weeks ago, but June 22nd, we had to change the date, but June 22nd, we will be having our first fundraiser for my nonprofit. Love Shell is a nonprofit based here, right out of here in Hampton Roads, Virginia, that will focus on continued and supplemental therapy for people who are inpatient programs for mental health, addiction. We're also going to be working with domestic violence survivors to make sure that they have the means, the foundation to go back into their lives and be able to function. A lot of times the inpatient programs that are offered is just not enough. Yep. So we're going to offer an outpatient component along with supplemental therapy like dance. You'll be able to come to a number of our community partners like Ultimate Dance Studio, Reba's, Animal Rescue, EquiKids, Powerhouse Boxing, so on and so forth. So whatever supplemental therapy vibes with you as an individual, that's what we are going to try to give you. So because it takes more than talking to a therapist sometimes. Yeah. It takes more than sitting in a group. And while those groups are valuable, that therapy is super valuable, sometimes you want to just release. Yeah. Sometimes you don't want to feel like everything is so medicinal. Everything is so rigid. And that's what we want to accomplish with Love Shell. So having our first fundraiser June 22nd at Smart Mouth Pilot House in Virginia Beach. It's from 12 to 5. So we'll have live music, we'll have market, have food, great drinks, alcoholic and non-alcoholic. So, so come on out, come and join us.
All for a worthy cause.
All for a great cause, y'all.
Cool. Until next time.